This week's hyperfixation is sugar-free for an entire month. Hi, Eddie and Kyla here. You're probably wondering what's up with all the location changes. Just to let you know that the next few episodes are going to be like this, and just think of it like Jimmy Fallon during quarantine, but hopefully a little bit better. All right, thank you. Hello, my name is Kyla, and I'm your host. Welcome back to another episode of Hyperfixation, where I talk about whatever I want to talk about. This week's hyperfixation is sugar-free diet for an entire month, something I did way back in January. Today we'll be talking about what I did, why I did it, how I did it, and all the things I learned in the knickknacks in between. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting right off, what did I do? Well, I did no added sugar diet for the entire month of January. So I did no honey, agave, maple syrup, corn syrup, cane sugar, Splenda, all the sugar additives. Nothing that was added to a food product for the sake of making it sweeter did I consume on purpose throughout the entire month. Some people do these really differently. Like some people will include honey or agave or maple syrup because it's natural. Some people won't include fruit juice because it's stripped from the fruit and a more processed version, so it loses nutrients and it's more sugar concentrated. I did do fruit juice, and as you can assume, I also ate fruit in general just because it's natural, it's all there. Sugar isn't everything, and it's not inherently evil when it's not added without your permission. So yeah, why I did this? Number one, it just always really fascinated me. Some people are really drawn to different types of like fad diets or whatever. And this one always just fascinated me, like going sugar free, like what would that be like? Because on a just general awareness level, like I feel like we know that sugar is in a lot of things, especially in America. But saying no to it and having to read labels and stuff like that, I always thought, okay, that's something I really want to try. And I did it. Another reason was because, you know, big food companies put whatever they want in our food and we don't say anything about it and we don't think twice about it. We just put things in our bodies because they're there, and I'm sure they did right by us by putting them in there. And you know, a lot of people don't, and I definitely did it before, and to be honest, don't really even now read labels and like look up what does that ingredient do, what is that, and why am I putting it in my body, why did they put this in this food. And so it was a way of becoming aware of that and fighting back against that, fighting against the man and the FDA and all that stuff. um, Also, I'm as old as YouTube and a very impressionable minor. It just seemed interesting and like a cool thing to do, so I did it. And lastly, one of the reasons why was because I celebrated Kwanzaa. For those who don't know, it's an African American holiday celebrated around Christmas time and it ends in January. And it just was on my heart to recognize all the lives lost and how cane sugar became a global superpower and the world's diet was through slavery in the Caribbean and stuff like that. So being able to honor those people who passed away and worked so hard for that and are really a footnote in history during a time of celebration of African American history and stuff like that, and also a new year. It was just a general New Year's resolution and almost like a fasting thing to do. So those are all my reasons why. And now you probably will be wondering, how did I do this successfully? And I would say that I was relatively successful. A couple of slip ups from not knowing what certain things meant and having to do more research than I had initially done. But I was relatively successful in this whole process of getting my 31 days in there. What I generally ate for breakfast, if I had breakfast, even though I'm generally not hungry in the morning, but if I had breakfast, especially on the weekends, I would get sugar-free cereal. There's a cereal in Kroger. It's in the natural homeschool kids section. and it has date powder in it. And it was a shock eating it at the first, let me tell you. That'll be one of the things I'll talk about when I talk about what I learned. Everything took a little time to adjust to, but I had sugar-free cereal, which I still really loved even afterwards. And actually, now that I'm mentioning it, kind of want some right now. But I had sugar-free cereal in the morning with unsweetened almond milk. We drink almond milk in my family. No real reason. It's just it's 2022. It's what you do. I had cheese popcorn. The Smart Foods popcorn was my snack, and I ate that popcorn up. I love that popcorn. I loved that popcorn before I knew there was no sugar in it, and I loved it when I knew that there was no sugar in it. That was a staple. I ate so much popcorn that I probably could have gotten pellagra. Um, just putting that out there. For lunches or dinners, I alternated. So if I had a salad for dinner, the next day I would have like a pasta. And then that night I would have, and then the next day vice versa. So I'd have a salad for lunch and pasta for dinner. I chose salads even though my school provides lunches that I just don't know what's in it. And so having salads and simpler foods to prepare myself so I can be like, okay, this is just lettuce. And I had to make my own salad dressing because lots of salad dressings have sugar in them. So simple things and simple recipes, very easy things to do so I could be consistent and very regiment. So there wasn't a lot of room to slip up because I was satisfied with what I was consuming. My mom made some vegetable soup, and that stuff was addictive. Now, I learned that in some chicken stocks, they put sugar in it, but we used a sugar-free version of chicken stock. Like, what? Why do I have to say that? And it was so good. So that would be another thing that I altered out. So like if I had soup for dinner, I'd have salad for lunch. If I had soup for dinner, I'd have salad for lunch the next day, and then vice versa, so on. I also got peanut butter sugar-free. Peanut butter sugar-free with apples or with bananas. Sugar-free peanut butter is just a different level of goodness. You don't know it. You don't know it because you think you need that sugar in your peanut butter. And I'm telling you, you don't. Because when you have peanut butter and apples or peanut butter and bananas or like on a slice of toast or something like that, it comes through. You don't know that life. And you should. You should let yourself experience that. You should let yourself have that. Homemade salad dressing, peanut butter, vegetable soup, pasta, salad, lots and lots of fruit. I already mentioned my Holy Grail peanut butter and fruit combo, but lots of fruit bowls, just lots of fruit because it's an easy sugary fix, but also it's easy. I don't have to prepare anything. I'm not a cook, if you can't tell by the way I'm talking. And that's why I was really worried about being a challenge because I don't like cooking and I'm just a little lazy. But if anything, if you want to try this, if you want to try going sugar free for 1 month, like you can do it and be super lazy. You can make fancy recipes, but you can also do it being super lazy. And that's how I did it because like I learned how to make pasta and that's pretty much it. I smashed up tomatoes and made pasta sauce that way. Like that was kind of the extent of me pushing boundaries. Mainly because I just didn't want to have to be a burden onto my family and buy so many separate groceries because my family didn't want to do this diet with me. And again, as a minor, I just wanted to be very minimal, something I could do myself and not have to do a bunch of prep work in after school. So yeah, pasta, salad, vegetable soup, homemade dressing. There's a lot of good recipes out there. I stuck with one, but there are a lot of good recipes out there. Sugar-free peanut butter, Holy Grail, almond milk, unsweetened almond milk, cheese popcorn, lots of fruit, and sugar-free cereal. So yeah, that's generally what I ate like every day. Of course, some variation, like maybe my mom made a casserole and it didn't have sugar in it, so I ate that because I could. But for the most part, I tried to eat separate from them. When they did have dinners like that I wanted to indulge in, I would look at the spices, because a lot of spices and seasonings have sugar in the bottle. And yes, I was that detailed. I wanted to do it right. And so I looked into those things. And so I was like, okay, set my piece of chicken aside and don't put that on there. And then I would go back and season it myself with something that I knew didn't have sugar in it. And so that's how I rolled. Again, very low maintenance, very low effort, because yeah, I'm not a cook by trade. I will be. That's the future me, but it's not me right now. All right. Okay. Hi, Editing Kyla here again. This episode was super long, and so there will be a part 2. Thank you so much for watching and sticking out through all of it. All right. I hope you have a wonderful day.